Hello and welcome to a engineer-specific tailored episode of the Untold. You know, we've had engineer Humoud Alenizi before, and he was so insightful. He was so, knowledgeable about so many aspects of the environment, the infrastructure. So we decided to bring him again.
Yeah, and today we want to talk about something really important, integrity and transparency and how it affects our culture and also cultures all over the world.
Yeah, and the key point here is that we're talking about workforce, employees and everything, and how to be your best self when you're at your job, right? How to represent yourself in the utmost, most possible way possible, and how you can do that.
I agree, and I'm curious to see what he has to say about this subject, because I know that Kuwait has many beautiful things, and we work our best to make sure that the country suits everybody's needs.
Yeah, you're curious, I'm curious. Hopefully the audience are curious. With that in mind, we're going to take a break. We'll come right back with him. And we are back with President of the National Integrity Center, Engineer Humoud Alenizi. I want to welcome you and thank you again for joining us on The Untold for the second time.
I'm pleased to be with you for the second time for this interview. Thank you.
It's wonderful to have you with us again. You've built your career fighting corruption and focusing on transparency. And I want to ask you, what made this one of your focuses?
Yes, back in 2007, I started to focus on this subject about transparency. And myself, with a group of friends, we established a community or a society called Kuwait Transparency Society in 2008. And at that time, Kuwait was focusing on enhancing our score in the Corruption Precision Index, CPI. And we established this society trying to help Kuwait to enhance their global index and their global record, and we worked together with our friend in this community and tried our best to bring the best practices, let's say, in the world. And through the Kuwait Transparency Society, we communicate with the international transparency societies, and we attend a lot of conferences, a lot of events, and trying to bring this experience in Kuwait. Meanwhile, we open a dialogue with the government at that time that we need to comply with the international standard, international requirement related to Anti-Corruption Convention, the UN Anti-Corruption Convention, which has a lot of compliance and a lot of requirements. And during our work, we bring a lot of expertise. So I traveled to Passau in Germany in 2008. I met Professor Lambsdorff. He's the head of the economy theory section in University of Passau, and he's the founder of CPI. He's the founder of Corruption Precision Index, which is globally recognized. And I joined the training there. He established training course for this CPI. I joined the course for like 2 weeks, and I established good relation with Professor Lambsdorff. After I came back, we invited him to Kuwait, and yeah, he came and with his expert team. At that time, we met His Highness the late Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmed, and yeah, we started from there. A lot of activities trying to educate the society about the importance of integrity, importance of transparency, not as only a system or regulations, also as a principle and values in the people. And this is what we is. And after that, I established another society, which called it the Kuwait National Integrity Society, and we name it national. Because we want to focus on protecting Kuwait, because there is a lot of international reports about how Kuwait is doing in fighting corruption, and some of these reports was biased, and we take the responsibility in correcting these reports and reflecting the real effort that Kuwait did so far, and our Kuwait Kuwait experience and Kuwait achievement in fighting corruption is an excellent effort actually in the region, let's say.
Yeah.
But people, they don't understand this. So within the Kuwait National Integrity Societies, we did a lot of work into trying to let's say enhance the Kuwait record, and also correcting and challenging these international reports, and presenting to them the real effort of Kuwait. Yes.
And so, you've mentioned the word integrity several times throughout all of this segment. So for the public watching, how would you define integrity here? Like, how would you explain this word and the term that we're dealing with?
Integrity is being honest and consistent, to be fair, and to deal with issues with high moral standard. And this belongs to everything, not only maybe in your job, maybe how you deal with your friends, maybe how you deal with your family, how you deal with your kids. Integrity is a part of the, it's a main value actually in a human. And actually even the kids, I believe kids, they have integrity as a default.
Yeah.
يعني kids, you will see that subhanallah, يعني kids, they don't like lying. Nobody teach them that lying is bad, it's good, but they don't like lying. Nobody's like lying. Nobody's like lying. So I think the integrity is the main human principles, and we need to make it deep inside our kids, and we need to capitalize on this. The problem that during the experience, when the kids grow up, he has a lot of experience and bad experience, so his value deviated, and the distinguish between right and wrong become vague.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think if we focus on kids, things will change better. I believe so. Yes.
I agree with you. I think children naturally know right from wrong. They have something inside of them that's very pure, very honest. They hate when you lie to them. They want you to tell them the truth, even though they don't understand it. And you can see other kids with like each other. If someone doesn't share, if someone doesn't do something, they will call each other out. They're not afraid to stay quiet about it. So I do agree with you that we need to start from a young age to teach people these kind of values. And we spoke a bit about integrity. We also mentioned transparency. Is it the same concept or is it a bit different? And how would it apply to people's lives?
Yeah, transparency is an application of integrity, and it's a requirement to make the integrity enforced, let's say. As you said, kids, they speak out. So transparency make things obvious, so that the wrongdoing become very challenging. The wrongdoing is become very difficult to take place. So this is why to enhance integrity, you need to expand transparency. Transparency is related, and transparency is the giving the right of people who has the right to know. So if I have the right to know, then I should know. Why it should relate only to the one who has the right to know? Because some information may be confidential, and this is respected by the law. That even we have what do you call it, transparency code here in Kuwait, transparency regulation, and you can request any information from any government authority. By the way, you can go to any government website, you will see a service that you can request for a document or for information from that. And Kuwait, we apply this, thanks to Kuwait government and thanks to Nazaha, the Kuwait Anti-Corruption Authority in Kuwait. They apply this law, but now when you try to benefit from this right, they will check that do you have the right to know this information or not. If you have the right to know this information, that means this information related to you, then you will get the document. If you apply through the proper channel and apply and take the proper application and do the procedure, they will give you the information. So transparency is very, very important. And also sometimes during tendering and even promotion, people must know on what basis they get the award, the tender, or on what basis one person was promoted. People have the right to know. And if everybody knows how these things, then people have the right to claim if there is something wrong. So transparency and wrongdoing has inverse relation. More transparency, less wrongdoing.
Yeah. And so how do these two concepts work together, you know, transparency and integrity, to improve, you know, economic stability? Like, how do those two merge together to better enhance the community?
It was proven that the the external fund or the foreign fund has a direct relation to how much transparency and integrity in any country. So people with good record of transparency and good record of integrity, it has a good attraction for foreign funds. This is in general, and this is proven record, by the way. Now, anyone who, you know what we said, there is a saying in Kuwait that capital is a coward. Correct? So anyone has his own money, he will not invest it in very bad environment, of course. So people if they want to spend their saving or their capital, they will spend it in a clean environment. And this is, as you said, this will enhance the economy, of course, because people are working freely, and they will compete in a very fair environment, and they know that their rights will be protected if they work, and there is no distinguish or any favorable from any side or against other side. These will encourage actually the business environment, and also to enhance the easy business. There is a lot of benefit from integrity and the positive impact of integrity into the economy in general. Yes.
I feel like that makes a lot of sense. And I actually want to thank you for doing this, because I think this is something really important in our society today, to ensure that everyone has the right to know and also can focus on a good system that will help better not only the person, but the country as a whole. And so I do want to ask you, are there any areas in Kuwait that you think transparency could really fix right now?
Yeah, I think now what we are doing now, we are encouraging the speak up environment. People must speak out. Now we have employee code of conduct. Every government authority and even private sector, they are adopting this. There is a code of conduct which put clearly what's your right, what the other rights, and what you will do if you see wrongdoing. And because wrongdoing is the umbrella of sometimes corruption. Not all the wrongdoings are illegal, and not all the wrongdoings are corrupted, but some of the wrongdoings related to corruption. So to fight wrongdoing, you have to enhance speak up environment. Reporting wrongdoing, everyone during your work, if you see wrongdoing, there must be a procedure how to report that. And reporting wrongdoing, it will enhance also the working environment. Reporting wrongdoing can also benefit from if we succeeded to identify a gap in our system, we can close this gap. Correct? So with a few brainstorming about the wrongdoing incident, you can enhance the system to be more let's say more protected from any future wrongdoing. So we're not focusing on fighting the wrongdoing, but also preventing this wrongdoing from coming back in the future. And I'm not talking about corruption, by the way. I'm talking about integrity and wrongdoing, because corruption has a specific legal meaning. But not all sometimes you do something wrong, but it's not criminalized. You see, but it's still wrong. From moral perspective, it's still wrong. Even it's not criminalized. Sometimes you use a gap in the system, or use a gap in regulation, weakness in regulation, so you have done something wrong. It is still wrong, even it's not criminalized. So integrity also deal with these issues, because I don't want to rely on the law to prevent corruption. I want to rely on the value of people to prevent corruption and to prevent anything like corruption, let's say. So I think working on this area, reporting wrongdoing, speak up environment, enhancing a code of conduct, and capitalizing on human values, good values, I think this will change a lot.
Honestly, that was beautifully said. And I think you made some really amazing points. And we should focus on people themselves having their own integrity to speak out or focus on the right stuff. Because if we're not aware of what's wrong, how can things move forward properly? So I want to thank you for that. But we are going to go on a short break, and then we can talk about this some more. Stay tuned for after the break.
And we are back, so thank you for tuning in. I believe that when we were on a break, we were talking about how the private sector actually, it kind of needs a lot of, I would say, overlooking, right? Here, especially in Kuwait.
True. I think the definition of corruption is abusing the power for a private gain. So, and this may affect the public money or also the private money. So even if you are in a company, sometimes you have a power in that company to decide. So also the private sector must have some measures and to control corruption and also prevent corruption inside the private sector as well, because abusing the power, regardless if it's public sector or private sector, and they may people with bad intentions sometimes be an employee in public sector, also private sector, and they can use their power for their private gain. So I think there is a role of the Chamber of Commerce in Kuwait, Chamber of Commerce in Kuwait, and so and try to put a standard and put a control measure, and encouraging companies to adopt these measures and to fight corruption inside the private sector, because corruption attacking everyone. If there is a weakness, there is a chance for corruption to happen, regardless what is the weakness. So I think this is very important subject, and I don't think we always focus on the government authorities. We always focus on how the government will deal with the problems corruption. This is fine and this is normal, but also the private sector may suffer from lack of transparency, lack of integrity, and there is a lot of damages may happen to any company, either it's public listed company or even small enterprise. No one is safe from corruption. Actually, you cannot say that my company is safe. Where there is a resources, where there is money, where there is a power with that money, then there is a chance of corruption if you don't have the proper system to protect your resources from any unethical practice.
That makes a lot of sense, and I do agree with you, because it's not about public or private sector. Any corruption or any weakness will affect everybody as a whole, no matter where it's coming from. So I want to thank you for bringing that to light. And I do have a question. I want to ask you, if there was one policy change that you could implement tomorrow or right now that could change the way we view transparency in any private or government sector, what would it be?
Yes, I think we need to have something called continuous enhancement of system, continuous closing gaps, and to do that we need to have a practice, continuous practice, continuous audit for our system, and not to wait for corruption to happen in order to make an action. I think we should work beyond that, or before that actually. So I suggest that we apply with something called corruption assessment practice, corruption assessment report, or corruption risk assessment. Corruption risk assessment is a kind of practice or an exercise. Everyone can do it, either government entity, private sector entity. They can assess their system and the probability of wrongdoing happen, and if that happen, what is the impact of that corruption. So it's a kind of possibilities about what if this kind of weakness was abused by anyone. So corruption risk assessment is an excellent practice that help any authorities, private sector or public sector, to identify where is the weakness and to suggest a control measure, and then continuously track these register, we call it corruption risk register, and continuously track this register and trying continuously to close gap, because this practice will never end. Every time there is a gap, every time there was any, and these kind of corruption risk register, these corruption risk item, they are vary. Some of them high probability, that means it may cure, and some of them very low probability, and some of them has very high impact, negative impact in our resources, and some of them the impact is very low. So trying to bring high probability to bring it to low probability, and try to bring the high impact into low impact. This practice will never end, because every time when you put a control measure, you apply it, the bad people or bad intention, they will look for another way.
Yeah.
Correct?
Unfortunately true.
Yeah, they will look to another way. So also you will be advanced also, and try to think ahead before they think, and try to close the gaps every time. Corruption risk assessment is an excellent practice and proven practice for any government entity or private sector entity as, let's say, precautions measures and preventive measures which stop corruption before it happens.
I think that's a really great idea, because even in medicine, they say the same thing. Prevention is key. Like, why wait for something bad to happen when you can stop it from happening before it even begins?
True.
So I think that is a really good thing that we should do. What do you think, Abdullah?
Yeah, honestly, and speaking of things we should do, as part of, society, as individuals, like what are some things we can, do and change in our behaviors that can enhance our integrity, even if we're not, part of the work infrastructure, like things we can adapt on a day-to-day life to increase our, transparency, our integrity?
I believe we need to focus on the people values. Yeah, you will see it sometimes if you are staying in a role. If there is sometimes, if you see, for example, sometimes people, they don't respect the role. Correct? These kind of things are not criminalized, but it make a difference if you do that. This is wrong. So, because if you invest on the regulations and surveillance cameras, and you cannot watch everyone, honestly. So we need to invest on people, that people, the value of people is strong enough, and everyone will be a model example in front of his kids. And this is the good investment, that we invest on people values and to try to enhance the value of the society. And everyone should be a good example in front of his children, that we will not do wrongdoing, and we will be honest while dealing with the law. And you will see sometimes if you always rely on the regulations, people will find a way to bypass these regulations. You will see that, for example, in some cities in Europe, there is no camera, for example, and people are committed to the speeding limit, even if there is no camera. We need to reach to that level, that you are not speeding because it's wrong, regardless if there is camera or not. So this kind of education, this kind of value, it needs a lot of effort. And I think our interview is part of it, inshallah, that we spread the message that, the reform starts from your inside. You should be the example. Before changing the world, you should change from inside as well. So I think this area we need to focus on in order to make our society is more protected from corruption, and we raise the level of integrity for the whole society.
Honestly, I think that's very true. And there is that kind of saying where if you want to fix something, first fix it in yourself, and then around you it will start in waves to hit other people around you.
Exactly.
So I think that is something that most people can resonate with. And do you think if people in Kuwait fully committed to transparency or integrity, what positive shift would they see in their lifestyle?
Yeah, actually, a lot of things. We will invest less on surveillance. We don't need camera in every place in order
Yeah.
to make the law enforcement. يعني we rely on people that they will do the right things regardless if there is someone is watching or not. And I think this will save a lot of money and save a lot of resources. And also we need to rely on our children, يعني the new generation. Reform. I think the new generation will make a lot of change in the future of Kuwait. And يعني I want to give the credit to the Ministry of Education that in the curriculum they started to adopt these kind of values in our curriculum.
Oh, have they?
Yes, and yeah, you will see it in grade 4, and in grade 3 you will see the concept of public ownership. That this is a public facilities. It's belong to the community, and we need to protect it. You will see this value in the Islamic science subject in the primary school now, and yeah, because we work with the Ministry of Education as an integrated society in order to enhance or to adopt these values in our curriculum, and also يعني even nurseries يعني we need to teach them that for example this is we suggest that this experience was this project was in Korea. It's Southern Korea. They have what they call it integrity garden.
Oh, cute.
In the nursery. And they teach the kids that this flower is belong to everyone.
That's such a nice idea.
Yeah.
It's true, but it's nice that they teach it to them.
Yeah. So the kids will know that he cannot pick up this flower. Okay. So this flower stay alive. You just give it water. You enjoy it, and keep it like this. This is belong to everyone, not belong to you. Integrity Garden project was an excellent project being applied to nursery school and succeeded to deliver the message for 4 years old, 5 years old kids, and they take the message that this is something related to public ownership. This kind of initiative, I think we need to apply it here in Kuwait, and Kuwait actually pioneered in this. As I mentioned, Ministry of Education succeeded to put this into so many curriculum and so many subjects. And also some schools they apply lost and found. That means okay, just throw a dinar in the school and wait. Does this dinar come back to the administration school or not? You see, and they do this trial in so many schools, and we did this trial in so many schools, and it will give you an indication that how honest is the kids.
Yeah.
Okay, and when the kids take this dinar, bring it to the administration, he get a credit that and he get example in front of his colleague. This kind of initiative and practice, I think it help a lot to try to enforce integrity values into our kids and the new generation.
Honestly, I think that's a really brilliant idea and something that we should implement in all schools if we can. So it's really heartwarming to hear that you guys have already tried doing this. And I do see it being very successful in the long term, because as you said, it's all about the individual. If we have integrity within ourselves, we will then impart it into the society as a whole. And with that, I want to thank you for joining us today and sharing this beautiful message, because I do think it's something very important for Kuwaitis everywhere.
Thank you so much. And I would like to thank you for this interview. And I think we are doing an effort. It's a part of the Kuwait effort to enforce integrity and spread transparency into the society.
I do agree, because part of the effort of the show is to show awareness. So thank you again. And with that, we're going to go on a short break. Stay tuned.
With that, it's the end of today's episode of The Untold, the one about the transparency and the integrity. Honestly, very insightful, very knowledgeable, hugely entertaining episode.
I agree. I feel like he has so much information about this subject, and I loved how he was talking about how integrity needs to be a value for every person, regardless of their job, that if the person themselves has integrity, then everything around them will be based on integrity.
Yeah, honestly, you know, and that's could be a motto for life, right? You perceive the world as you perceive yourself. So if you're not perceiving yourself in the utmost best intentions, you're not gonna treat the world with good intentions. So you know, I really enjoyed how this episode took a more, I would say, philosophical terms when we're talking about, you know, workforce and workplace and everything. Really enjoyable.
Same. And I do like how we talked about how kids are kind of the leading example of all that's good in the world. And if you teach kids from a young age to do the right thing, then everyone will benefit from that, as society as a whole. Because what you learn when you're young will translate as you get older.
Yeah, very well said, Lejane. With that, it's the end of today's episode of The Untold. But until the next one, goodbye for now.
Goodbye and see you next time.